All right, so welcome to our second week of internship, our internship and community social services. So what I want to do in this short lecture is to walk you through my expectations for the reflective papers, which is something that you have due this week. So let's take a look at what you actually have due this week. So, you go to our traditional place to find, the folder of the corresponding week. So this is the week of May 30th to June 2nd. So you click there, and what you will find is that there is a reflective journal due on June 1st at midnight, okay? So you click on that, and then you're gonna see some instructions for this particular journal. So generally what I want you to do in these reflective journals, this is, not too long. It's a 500-word reflection that addresses different questions. I'll be posting different questions every other week, which is when you have these reflective journals due. Generally, these questions are going to ask you to make explicit connections between the reading of the week and your own internship experience. Now, before I explain what that means, I want to talk about this 500-word limit. So, of course, I want a minimum of 500 words. But if you need more space, more room, more words, I'm all for it, okay? So go for it. Also, if you do 450 words, it's fine as long as you fully answered the questions that I'm asking you to answer, okay? So make sure that you answer in complete articulate sentences, right? And also another part is that halfway responses will get half points. So what I mean by this is that you really want to fully, clearly articulate your thoughts, but also you want to make sure that you explicitly address the reading that is due that particular week. So let me show you what I mean by this. I actually have an example here. This is an example of a reflective journal from a year ago when I taught this course. This was a particularly good response from a student. And I want to show you some examples of how this works. So this particular reflective journal was based on a different reading, not the reading that you have due this week, but it explicitly and early in the reflection talks about the concepts and ideas that are in the reading, right? The main takeaways. So before you start writing the reflection paper, make sure that you do the reading, okay? So here's an example. Here the student says, the past few weeks of my internship at the Framingham High School Counseling Department have been very interesting. And then he goes on to talking about some of the key concepts of the reading, which was a reading about compassionate communication, emotional labor, and emotional work. So here the student is saying a lot of the action going on at this side has to do with emotional work rather than emotional labor, because the counselors I am shadowing are making relationships with their clients or students. And then he goes on to explaining some of this emotional content. As you can see, even though he's paraphrasing here, he's citing the page number. This is something that I want to see as well. And as you can see here from my comment, what this student does okay in this paper is to clearly distinguish some of the key concepts of the reading. In this case, emotional work or emotional labor. So before you write this reflective paper, make sure that in a piece of paper you have the key takeaways, and then make sure that you explicitly address the key takeaways of the reading, okay? The student keeps going this way, he addresses explicitly one of the key topics of that particular reading, which is compassionate communication. So I want to see a lot of these explicit connections. The student wrote a reflection paper that is about a page, which is 550 words, but I already talked about this word limit. Finally, one thing that I do want to see in these reflection papers is a section on works cited. In this case, this student cited the actual article that was assigned for that week, but you can feel free to add any other works that maybe you've read in other classes that are going to be able to allow you to make a more complete argument, or maybe things that you were reminded of as you were working on your internship. Finally, in some cases, it's possible that the reading that you did for that week is not going to fully connect with your internship experience. Talk about that and explain why that is, what's going on in your internship side that it's different from what is suggested in the readings, okay? So these are the key things that I want to see in these reflection papers or reflective papers. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Thank you.